as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
I am so delighted to welcome Yvonne onto the programme, not only because she is part of the Art Society on the Costa del Sol, which is a major worldwide infrastructure, over 100 clubs, I believe, around the world, but she's also very knowledgeable about everything. I'm just having a nice chat off camera. She knows about everything. Yvonne, welcome to Marbella Now.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure, I have to say. Before we get into talk about the Art Society, I've been doing a little research on you, and I was fascinated because you come from an educational background.
Yes.
But you've been talking recently on ethnical Chinese minorities, Asia, different cultures, and really the plights they go through. So can we start there?
Yes, absolutely. It's very close to my heart. Travel is a passion, and especially traveling in Asia, where the cultures are so different to our own, and China in particular, which I have been to 5 times since 2007. Of course, originally to see some of their ancient cultural treasures, but then I discovered that in the very, very remote part of China, in the southwestern corner, there is a province called Yunnan, and it is recognized as the most culturally diverse province in China because it has 25 of China's officially recognized ethnic minorities. And traveling there, not only that, but in the most magnificent of landscapes. So traveling there was one of those experiences, you know, that make your heart sing. And they have the most fascinating customs and traditions.
I know that when my daughter was young and she was at school, she came home very, very upset one day because she asked me, is it true that they kill baby girls in China? Is it true that they can only have one child in China and therefore they kill the girls because they only want the boys? And when you come from a European world like I'm very privileged to do, in a very safe world, it's very hard to explain to a child that everyone doesn't have it as good as we do, that it's not just the privileges we see from someone having more money or less money in our day-to-day, but it does really go so much further than that. How do you feel coming from Sweden to find yourself in such a culturally different environment?
Well, of course, when you travel as a tourist, you don't see or hear anything of that. But I do know that there was a preference for boys, and there was a one-child policy, because China now has 1.4 billion people on a surface that is about the same size as the US. Of course, in many cultures, in India also, there's always been a preference for boys. But that
probably because they work and bring in the money?
Well,
I don't know, why was the reason
also,
being?
well, also because, of course, going back in time, farming was probably the predominant occupation in countries like that. And boys were obviously, they felt, could they only have one child, it had to be a boy. But that one-child policy has been discontinued, and it never applied to ethnic minorities. They could have more children.
Why is that?
I have no idea.
How strange.
Perhaps because they represent a much smaller group. 92% of China's population are so-called Han Chinese, the Chinese that you would recognize. And the ethnic minorities only represent 8%.
So perhaps it's nice that there was a protection of their heritage as such.
Yes, and I think even more so now when they're beginning to realize that there is a tourist potential there.
Just give them money of anything, huh?
Yeah. And also don't forget that with that policy for many, many years, there is now an imbalance between male and female. So by taking that away, that one-child policy, they're hoping to rectify that.
Yes, I did hear that there was that generation that could not find a partner because
That's
there just
right.
were no partners around because
That's
they
right.
hadn't been, well, they'd been born maybe, but not managed to live. I can't imagine giving birth to a child and Anyway, let's go to a little bit of something, the Art Society.
Yes.
Because every month you hold events, which I think is quite amazing, and the fact that about 150 people go to them every month, I find it's blown my mind, to be honest with you.
Well,
what do you do that everyone wants to come and listen
first, let me correct that. That's membership.
Okay.
Not everybody comes every month. Well,
because in
what we do-
Marbella, to move people on the Costa del Sol like that is not easy.
No, well, we have the core activities are our lectures on art and cultural interests, and we have those from once a month from October through to May. And we also have extra lectures. So in total we have about 12 to 13 lectures every season. And the lecturers come from the UK, and they have gone through a rigorous accreditation process in order to be able to lecture for all these 370 societies around the world. We have 7 in Spain, and we were the first one.
Congratulations.
Yes. And we're still around, celebrating 30 years in 2018, next year.
Wow, 30 years. So before Costa del Sol, the same time I've been here roughly, but the changes here
Then
have
you
been
will
tremendous.
know what a task it must have been for the founder chairman to set it up and to make it work in a Spain that was totally different, as you say, in 1988.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't even have unleaded petrol. I can go that far.
Or emails, mobiles.
Well, that was we actually, part of our company, helped introduce internet into Spain. So yes,
Oh, did you? Wonderful.
Yes, it was quite an experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see how, just in Europe, the changes from England. I think Spain's 5 years behind England. England's normally 5 years behind the States for things that take to find their way through.
But today, that is our core activity, and that is what tends to bring people in initially. But then they discover...
What kind of subjects, though, do you talk
Oh,
about?
anything from art to architecture, literature, opera, and very often we have Spanish-related subjects because that appeals to people here. So we have a lecture on Cordoba this season, we have a lecture on the Berbers of Alpujarra, and another one on the Phoenicians in Andalusia, especially in Cadiz then, since they established Cadiz. And we've had lectures on Lorca and Hemingway in Spain, but of course we also have big names like Sorolla, Picasso, and modern artists also, like Lucian Freud, for instance. Didn't go down too well, but people tend to like the big established names. So and we've had Vivaldi, and yeah, so anything really that has an art and culture connection.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Hey, hey.
Do you meet, apart from these groups, when you meet for the cultural events, do you have like social events as well? It must be a nice way to make new friends if you've moved over here, or if you're looking for communities. Is it particular nationality or is it mixed nationalities? What's a bit about the members in the club?
Okay, we have a membership. I think we have about 12, 13 nationalities. Of course, a large part being British, but we have Scandinavians, Danish, Swedish, Finnish, Germans, Austrians, French, Belgium, you name it. We have a lot of different nationalities. And what we have in common is the language, because everything is done in English. And we have many social events. We have after lecture drinks, so we can talk about what we just heard. We have after lecture dinners. We have a Christmas lunch, an end of season dinner dance. And we also do cultural travel together. So we do day trips. We're going to Alpujarra in March after a lecture on Alpujarra, and we're going to Copenhagen in April. This past season we were in Portugal, and we've been everywhere in Spain, so you have to be really creative now to come up with new destinations.
And it must take so much organising. to get all these and move all these people around and plan everything. So a lot of work goes into it. Obviously, a lot of love goes into it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can see in your face. I mean, you're talking about it and you're beaming. And
you know, I love these members. They are such wonderful people, and of course, we have something in common, which is our love and passion for art and culture. So there is the beginning. But what is also wonderful, one relatively new member sent a little email and she said, I am so happy I found you. My husband died 3 years ago and I now feel like I'm having a life again. So to me that is, well, the best notice I've had in a long time.
Oh, we actually often say this, that to be in Marbella, people pass away, they've come to move out here, they're left on their own, or for many reasons a lot of people are on their own, and these are ideal clubs to be able to get you out into the world, make friends and have a reason to get up in the morning, which some people, as you say, if you've lost a loved one, can be very hard. How can people get in contact with you, Yvonne, if they would like to become part of the club, find out more information?
Well, I think the best route is probably to go onto our website, because there we have everything about becoming a member. Although you don't have to be a member, you can also come as a visitor. You pay €10 on the door, and our lectures are publicized in British and Scandinavian media the week before they take place. They're always the second Monday of the month. Our website is the Arts Society, in one, arts with an S, so the Arts Society -costadelsol.org.
Oh, one of those nice short websites.
I know.
But this is, we know why, it's because they were, when the internet and first became popular and they said to us, make your names up, we didn't realise you were then going to have to afterwards write them down, because also all our emails and websites are really long, and now people realise, okay, let's make it short.
Well, we used to be Costa del Sol DFAS, DFAS, Decorative and Fine Arts Society, because the headquarters in London were called NADFAS, National Association of Decorative and Fine Arts. But of course, over a 50-year period, they outgrew the name, because now it's no longer national. It's 370 societies around the world.
How does that come about, that you have a little association and then you join up with other clubs, or did it all come from the same original club and then opening new branches?
It came from the original society that was set up in 1968 by a lady called Patricia Fay, and in Chiltern. And this became such a success, other people heard about it, so more societies joined together, and then 3 years later they formed this national association. But fast forward 50 years later, first of all, it's not national anymore. Secondly, it's not about decorative and fine arts anymore. It's a quite limiting description. And what an acronym to describe NADFAS, DFAS, what is it? And then you say, Decorative and Fine Arts Society, and people go, little stuffy that. So now they have rebranded themselves in London, the Arts Society, and all of us become the Arts Society and add where we are. So the Arts Society Nerja, the Arts Society Costa del Sol. So we are one organization, one brand and one vision.
Do you share other things as like a worldwide society? Do you work on different projects together as one, or is everything very individual?
It is individual, but of course we select our lecturers from the same pool in the UK. And also we work very closely together with some of the societies along the coast. So we run young arts projects, for instance, together with one society. We have done that, and we have a Golden Memories event coming up on the 1st of March with the Benahavis Society, where we celebrate the 50 years of the Art Society, NADFAS Now Art Society. It would be wonderful.
It really is exciting.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's a great opportunity for those who maybe don't have a big friend base round, or you've lost loved ones, or you feel that you're a little lonely, or just like arts and culture. It really does sound like the place, like a group to be part of.
And for the real aficionados, we have a small group within the big group called the Art Appreciation Group, and that's run by a member artist. We have several artist members, and she keeps an eye out what's happening locally and emails all the people in that group, and then we just make our own way to the place and go for exhibitions or museums. Most recently, one member organized a street art walk in Malaga. Have you heard of the Lagunitas area behind
Yes.
Plaza de la Merced? Well, there are wonderful murals there. I happen to be a street art fan.
Well, I have to say, I like street art too, and I have to say, I like going to Malagrazon. We don't go often enough because it's got a lot to offer as well.
Yes, culturally, definitely.
Yvonne, it's been a pleasure to meet you, know a little bit more about you.
Likewise,
I hope I get to
likewise.
see you soon. You could tell us about the different events coming up within the Art Society, and if you would like to become a member of the Art Society, please do contact Yvonne and the group, because I'm sure they'd love to have you along.
Absolutely.
You would, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, just
we
checking.
welcome everyone with open arms.
Merry Christmas, Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas and Happy New
And
Year to you.
congratulations for your birthday coming up, 30 years for the Art Society next year.
Thank you.
We'll have you back
Thank
by
you,
then,
Nicole.
hopefully.
Thank you.
Hey, hey.
Remember to pick up your free copy of the latest edition of the Euro Weekly News tomorrow and read my column, Marbella Moments. And we'll be back again tomorrow evening here with another edition of Marbella Now, which you can also watch online while we're actually broadcasting the show, or you can check out past programs and this program from our website, marbellanowtv.com. Hasta mañana. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. Bye for now.